Let's dig into the teaching coming from another one of our patients. This is Ramata talking about an experience when her son became sick. And then what happened? He said, "I'm feeling sick. I showered him and dressed him. He went and lay down. When he got up, he had a very high fever. I had some fever medicine here and gave it to him. A little after he got up, he started throwing up very hard, and his body kept warming up. In the meantime, his father came home from work. I told him about it. He said, 'Well, this is the situation. I don't have money to take him to the hospital. Give me some time. I'm going to see the pharmacist around the corner. He's my friend, and I'll ask him if he can help me.' He went and saw the pharmacist, who gave him 2 medicines. The pharmacist there thought it was malaria and gave us some malaria medicine and another syrup for the fever. He came home and we gave our son these medicines, but they did not help. As the night went on, my son just kept on getting sicker and sicker. Between 11 and 12 o'clock at night, he was having seizures, jerking up and down on the bed. So we got very scared. My husband called one of his friends who has a car to help us take the boy to the hospital. We went to the community center. Before we left home, my son had already passed out, like a corpse. His body was all cramped up. You could hardly move his body." This is a very intense story that Ramata is telling us. And thankfully, as the story goes on, her son does make it through that experience after considerable expense and I believe medical costs that forced the family into debt. Looking and drilling down into this particular passage, what are the barriers? She says, "I had some fever medicine here and gave it to him." So we see that what Ramata does in action to the situation is with the tools she already has in the home. We then see this dynamic with her husband. He said, "Well, this is the situation. I don't have money to take him to the hospital." We see again that the husband appears implicitly to be the person tasked with transporting the child to the hospital. We also see the husband say, "I don't have money." Ramata didn't report, I didn't have money, or I didn't have money, and the husband didn't say, "We don't have money." The husband said, "I don't have money." This suggests, and we might ask a question mark, put a question mark, is who is making decisions regarding money? And in fact, we saw a pattern emerge. Mothers would be the first to detect an illness, as in this situation with her son. But as soon as it involves seeking care beyond the home, several mentioned waiting for their husband to come home and make what sounds almost like a medical financial diagnosis. I don't have money to take him to the hospital, right? We see 2 other barriers there, right? We can circle money, and we can also circle to take him to the hospital. So there's a geographic barrier coming up again, right? And then we're also seeing a cost barrier, and that cost barrier, it's unclear what he's referring to, what he would need the money for. And we might ask that question, what does he need this money for? Does he need the money to get to the hospital, to pay for transport? Does he need the money to get into the hospital? Already here, we have pulled out several different potential barriers to care. There's a distance that needs to be traveled. There's money that needs to be paid. There is also gender dynamics and power dynamics within the household that needs to be negotiated.